Hey Mark, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
So CREA, which is the Canadian Real Estate Association, released an article today, November 15th,
Yep.
about the fact that home sales slow in October as many buyers have already gone into hibernation.
And we saw that. And just to clarify for the viewers, the Korea is as we're talking at a national level now, not in a micro market like Barrie and say Toronto.
Even
It's
Ontario.
correct. So this is national across Canada. So yeah, I mean, and we've been saying that for weeks now, right? And then how many times have we done our weekly updates and we go, hey, this week we did 15 sales. Last year they did 30, same week, different year. So we've been seeing that along this, the last several weeks where we've seen that and we've been communicating to our sellers that, hey, traffic's down. We're seeing it in the numbers. We're seeing it in the listings. We're not seeing the activity on the board very much. And then when you talk to other colleagues in different markets, they're saying the same thing.
Yes. And what's funny is like last week, our sales were almost exactly the same as they were last year in November. But
Correct.
we did see a definite drop in September and October. And in the end, it's funny because you hear this from Korea a month or two after it actually started.
I know it's crazy, yeah, but it's kind of nice to get that information on the national level too to see because we see what's going on in our market, we see what's going on in Toronto GTA. It's nice to see what's going on across the country, and a few points I kind of want to bring up in that article: new listings were off 2.3% in October, the first decline since March. Right, but we
So
saw
sellers aren't sellers either. Sellers aren't selling either.
no, right? So some of them have become frustrated. Some of them have said, hey, we've seen many listings in, say, in Innisfil, listed 135 days. We're done. We're done. We'll reevaluate this in the spring. And in the article, it talked about that as well, right? Where, sellers have checked out already. And properties are still selling. They are, but it's taking longer. And it's going to take, where let's just say in, I don't know, July, you list a 699 house, let's just say in June's better month or May. Holy cow, you could have 8 showings in a day.
Yes.
Now you're getting 8 showings a week, right?
Yeah.
That's the new norm. So, there's a lot of them that have been hibernating, like you said, that said, hey, we're going to sit back, we're going to reevaluate. Way too much going on, right? Someone's, uncertainty creeped in. Look at the Bank of Canada. They started off at 0.25 and then now they're up to 5%, the highest rate progression since 2001. So 22 years. That's insane. And we're
Well,
still
and even in the article, it says that they think it's going to pick up in 2024, but they think that buyers are going to have to really see some rate cuts to get a better confidence.
100%.
Like the
Right.
rate hold isn't working. That's not going to do nothing.
No, right now it's not because we are in a slow cycle right now. So, it's not going to do nothing. Right. But if the buyers see another one coming down as a pause, and now I'm seeing some articles float around saying, oh, the Bank of Canada might raise, and now this Bank of Canada is raising. So this is not happening. They're trying to get eyeballs on that and get everybody freaked out. But to your point, yeah, I think if the buyers see another pause, no matter what, they're off till the spring. But when I say that, they're still actively looking. They're just not buying.
I
Right.
know. Well, that's the thing. And I sent an article to one of my clients. Simcoe.com posted an article today that said, should you walk away? What Simcoe County experts are telling new home buyers. In Toronto, a lot of people are just walking away from new builds. And mortgage experts are trying to say that well, the problem here is there's a lot more involved than that. You can get sued. The price could, if they sell for a lot lower than you paid, they can come after you. You lose your deposit. There's a lot of things about walking away that people don't take into consideration, right?
They should get legal advice. That's what they should get before making rash, just fast decisions like that. Let the
Yeah.
lawyer tell them, right?
Well, and because, the problem is, and I had a discussion, remember Rob, the mortgage agent? I had a discussion with him yesterday because he feels the doom and gloom. The prices are gonna go down. There's no action. We have all these listings on the market. People are gonna start getting a little bit desperate. They're gonna start cutting some prices. Now, I said to him, he sent me 2 or 3 articles. TD is saying prices are gonna go down. I said, well, RBC says in 2024, prices are gonna go up.
Yeah.
I said to him, Rob, in the last 4 years, how many times were they right?
None.
0, Mark.
Yeah.
Those forecasts were wrong.
Right.
Every time.
And people need to take that as they're just forecasts. They're not seeing it. You made a point. Well, they come out now, it's November, and they're saying, hey, things are slowing. Buyers we've been saying it, Christ, for 7 weeks, 8 weeks now. So listen to people that are in the business full time, right? That have a finger on the pulse in the marketplace and know what's going on. We don't need to wait for an article like that to come out.
We already know.
We already know what's going on. So,
another thing too, I said to Rob, so first of all, none of these forecasts in the last 4 years, ever since just before COVID, have been correct. They haven't.
Yep.
Nobody saw an upswing in May and June, but we had one, right? Like you don't know. I want to know, in the last 4 or 5 years, or in your career, how many times did this market turn on a dime, where 1 week it was going crazy multiples and no word of a lie, the next week gone?
it happens all the time. It's very cyclical, right? It's up and down from week to week. In a normal stabilized market, we're going to see peaks. We're going to see this. Holy cow, busy, or holy cow, why is Billy busy? He's running with his head cut off and I'm doing nothing. We've seen that throughout our career. And all of a sudden I'm really busy and you're not, but that's just the way it goes at times, right? Or we'll see, holy cow, look at, see what they got for that price. And there's, 4 offers, and then look at that sold. That's way, like, the next week, it's way different. And, I listed a property back, and I think it was 2021. It was a bungalow. We listed it. We priced it $699, and we wanted $775. We ended up getting, but anyway, we listed it that week. Put on Wednesday, hold off offers, do no post, etc. Had maybe 5 showings, 1 offer, $650. Well, I didn't. $656. Sorry, that's not going to work out. So my sellers go, what should we do? So let me sleep on this and I'll figure it out. So next day I call him back, says, you know what? It didn't get the exposure. People weren't looking at it. Not a lot of footsteps, right? Pretty solid market. Let's just change the date on the listing and see. This was in the spring. It wasn't in November. It was right in the spring.
Yeah.
It goes like this. Sure enough, we got 4 or 5 offers the following week, and he's got a 775. Like, it's crazy, right?
Well, it is. And I don't know if you remember, in 2017, we were at Century 21 then. And I remember an agent buying a house to flip. And it was after Easter. We were having multiple offers all the way from January to the end of March. It was craziness. Everything was going high. Townhouses were selling for $750 that were terrible. Everybody was like, what the hell's going on? And then the next week after Easter, died. Like, no one's getting showings and nobody's getting multiple offers. And it just completely died. And it stayed that way the whole year. And then he was just hoping he could get his money out. He was hoping to make $100,000. And by the end of in 6 weeks, he was just hoping to break even, because total disaster happened and nothing had changed.
No.
There wasn't a big interest rate change.
Wasn't inflation. Wasn't crazy political bullshit that we see today, right? It was calm and steady. in a sense.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, the buyers, I can't remember what happened then. I think there was talk of something going on. It was media. And then everybody just like ran and scattered.
Wow, that's it. And we've said that before many times. Like there's lots of information floating on around the world and around the real estate bubble, and this is going to pop and this is going to this. Just call a goddamn realtor that's in the business, that knows what they're doing, that's on the market, has an idea. They'll tell you the truth. They'll tell you what's going on. Or keep tuning into us, because we're up to date with the information. We're not here to bullshit anybody. We're here to give exactly the truth, what's going on in the market today. If it's bad, we're telling you it's bad. If it's good, we're telling you it's good. Take that as face value and, go from there. But let's go back to a couple of things before we continue this discussion. So,
okay, listen to this. Hold on. At the peak of the market in March 2017, prices had increased by 34% over the previous year. Then the market turned on a dime. Prices fell by 18% in just 4 months.
What was going on in 17?
I'm trying to figure that out, because I remember it was like, it says in Toronto alone, nominal house prices dropped 19% in July 2017 from a high of 918 in April of 2017.
What did Kathleen Wynne do? Because I remember something. I sold one of my properties in 17.
That is what I'm trying to do, because honestly, I remember it and it like changed on a dime. Like,
was it? Can't remember now. Was it those, was one of those, maybe it was, I think it was stress tests that came in. That's when it was. I'm almost certain. That's when
I'm finding it. Hold on.
Implemented the stress tests. You find it, and I'm going to keep talking about these points.
Yeah, go ahead.
On a national level, the average price was 656,625, up 1.8%. So yes, there's less footsteps, and yes, there's less traffic and transactions, but prices are very similar to 2022. They expect BC and Ontario prices to decline in these two markets over the next several months. They didn't say why. So, they're two major big markets. Can't see that happening. I would, we're not seeing it now. If we see a shift, we'll have a better idea come January, Feb, more into early Feb, what the market's going to do. Because we're going to see a lot of these properties that have been listed now, they're going to die off. They're going to get terminated. They're going to get canceled and then relisted in the new year. We see it all the time. So if we see some buyers kind of creeping back in the market in January, and we do, because there's just a low inventory, and we say, holy cow, we see a house listed and oh my God, they got multiple offers. There's a red flag that, whoa, some buyers come back. So we'll keep an eye on that. And as we continue to do our market updates. And again, the article just talked about the higher, borrowing costs has weighed heavily in the market. And, now it seems like it's taking effect, and there's uncertainty, as we've been saying for several weeks right now.
Yeah. You know what?
I think it's a stress test. I'm almost 100%.
Well, you know what I think happened? I think they raised it.
No, I don't think it was the rate increase.
You think that's when it came in?
Yeah, I'm almost certain. Yeah. And then it died down for a bit, and then things started to come back. Yep.
That's what I'm trying to find out. When did the stress test come in?
I'm thinking in that time frame.
Because I remember like it went from crazy
to what happened
to dead.
Right. It was shocking, and then until it becomes new norm, and then okay, great. But we were still in a decent rate. So when we look at the stress test today, we wonder why footsteps in transactions are off, in some October, like 20%, 30%. It's because the rate increases have gone up so much, and then we're qualifying for 2% more.
Okay, you know what it was, Mark? In 2016, a stress test came in for everybody under 20% down. So between 5 and 19% in 2016, they had to do a stress test.
Yep.
You know what happened in 2017? Everybody had to do the stress test.
Yep. I remember those coming in around those timeframes. And you know what? That's not a bad thing. Like, I didn't really mind that. Put some stability into the marketplace for people not getting into trouble, because prior to that in 13, 14, I did a ton of pre-power. I call them pre-power sales, meaning the people were already in almost a writ of possession, which means the lenders are knocking on the doors to take the property over. They've been, delinquent in their mortgage rates for several months. I can't tell you when I had a last deal like that ever again. It stopped at 16.
I know.
Didn't-
Well, don't you find too, though, that like even people still could get approved for mortgages? They just didn't. Like, it scared everybody. Silly.
New. We never seen this before. And we don't need this in place right now. Why? People want it. There's a lot of people that want to get into home ownership, but they can't qualify. And then that buyer then ends up, living with mom and dad, but more probably in an apartment paying $2,500 to rent, for a one bedroom, pissing money away, and could be trapped there. Right.
Well, don't you think the problem is if they take it away, then how do they get it back?
Put it back when there's good times coming. Put it back when we see a market frenzy again. That's when you do it, right? We are so used to selling real estate in a low rate climate over the years, right?
Yeah.
Less qualified, easy to get through. We saw it back in the days when longer amortizations, 30, 40-year amortizations back in the day. Man, those were heydays in a sense. Like, anybody can get into it. Anyone could afford it.
Well, one of my clients who is actually in the financial business posted a couple weeks ago that mortgage renewing, and his mortgage is going to renew soon. The variable is 7.7.
Yep.
The 1 year is 6.69. The 2 year is 7.84.
Yeah.
3 years 7.39.
It's unreal.
And so that means, though, Mark, if it's 7.7, you have to be approved for 9.7.
No,
I'm just plugging this in.
It's pretty hard to qualify, and that's the thing. And I don't think they're going to do it. They're not going to do that anytime soon. They don't. I really believe they like crushing people, and I don't want people to spend money right now and get into debt.
Well, and I've talked to quite a few people, mortgage people and stuff, and they said that stress test, it's not going anywhere.
No, it's not.
There's not even talk of it going.
And there should be. Make it more. Maybe take it down. Maybe take down a point. There's some relief. Don't maybe get rid of it. Change it.
Yeah.
Change it as times have changed.
You know what else, Mark? How about this?
Bad.
Maybe we need to call the government. Maybe, I don't know, get their number.
That doesn't work.
What if you have more than 30 or 40% down, there is no fucking stress test. There's enough equity in that house. There's enough equity in the house.
I agree.
That if the bank's got to take it, they're good.
I agree. And how about, okay, that's great. For the younger demographic, millennials, who are dying to get into home ownership today, and mom and dad, they're lined up to help them. I've seen them at an open house last week, and I couldn't believe the traffic. Holy cow. It was insane. Mom and dad, and the kids, and
they have to.
They have to. Okay. Or you need a co-signer. Mom and dad would do that in a heartbeat.
Well, they don't even allow co-signers anymore. They put them on title.
But whatever you got to do, but change as we change, we have to change with things. We have to evolve. Our economy isn't doing the same thing that it did 2 years ago. Things have changed in this country. So why aren't we adapting new policy to reflect that change? No, we're doing the same fucking thing we've done all the time and just keep going through the motions and not changing anything. I mean,
okay, but don't you think that that's part of the plan? They're trying to get the house prices down. Well, they're trying to get the people screwed up so that the prices go down.
Yeah, but we're not seeing that, though.
No, we're not. It's not working. I actually read an article last week that said that the Bank of Canada interest rate hike, their big plan, it didn't work.
Didn't work. So how about try a new one?
Yeah.
Try a new plan. Try something different. Help out the people that want to get into a home today. There's a shortage. I know what's going to happen in the next year or so, by 2025, we're back to COVID pricing, especially
Yeah,
if there's 2 years. And they were saying that rates could be coming down a lot quicker. Like there's so much information flying. Let's just say they do. Some of the articles are at 2%, 3%, they're coming down. Whoa, we know what happens. Those real estate assets inflate, they go up.
Yep.
And people are going to go, hey, shit, I can qualify. Let's go. There's no building going on. There's nothing going on.
No.
People aren't selling their homes. There's another, even though we have a lot of listings on the board, okay, we do, but it's also the time of year too, and then, September we saw, I think this slowdown happened not in October. It happened 4 weeks before.
It did.
Not October.
We saw it in September.
Saw it in September. What the frig's going on?
Yeah.
We saw it and just, whoa, it changed.
And if you see 1 week slow, okay. But then you see 2, and then you see 3, right. And then you're like, okay, we're in trouble. Like,
right. And then we go back and see what kind of sales we did the previous year over year, and they're down. And let's talk.
And they're not down by 5.
Oh,
they're down by a lot.
Double digits. Excuse me. Look at Innisfil. 4 properties changed hands last week. That's 1% of the inventory.
I know.
Yes. And out of those 4, we went through 2 the other day on a video, and they were triple digits days on market because the seller thinks it's worth this. The property is worth what someone is going to pay for that property today. And we both know that can change week over week, month over month. Mm-hmm. Right? But right now, it's not changing right now in November. It's not going to. No. It could change in, late Jan, Feb. Yeah, we'll know. Watching.
Well, we'll see it. You'll see it start happening, right?
We're going to start seeing it. Yeah, we always do.
Yeah. And the media, just so everybody knows, it's all over the place. You listen to you watch the TD information, and they're saying one thing. You watch RBC, they're saying another thing. You watch CMAC, they're saying they're saying, something else. Everybody does agree on one thing, though. The market's slow, Mark.
Yeah. And,
you know what I mean? Right now, everybody agrees. Yeah, sales are down. Inventory's up. It's shitty. Everybody agrees that that's what's happening right now. But as far as forecasts, everybody's everywhere.
And, we can't, we can assume what's going to happen in the spring based on experience that we have. I will not shoot my mouth off and tell a client, oh, you'll get 75,000 more. You get 80,000 more. No, because we don't know. But history tells us that, hey, it's a good time in, Feb, late January, and we'll kind of get a gauge on, because there's no inventory. We'll start to see some things sell over price, and then we'll go, holy cow, they got that. Wow. Now's the time.
You know what? I always tell my clients at this time of year that are selling, always, listen, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if you take the lower number now.
Yeah, I know.
Because is it going to go down in 2 months, or do we wait, let it die, let it sit for a month off the market, come back in the spring, and you're going to, you're going to do better. I don't know if you're going to do better.
We don't have that crystal ball. No one does. Again, we're forecasting out that, and I don't like forecasting away and saying certain prices, but typically the market does get better in February. What happens if it doesn't? We don't know. We could have some crazy thing happen.
And look at the egg on your face if you say, oh, you know what, just wait till spring because you're going to get more money, and the market goes to shit.
Good.
Because we don't know, and you can't mess with most people, this is the biggest investment of their life. Yep. So you can't mess with them and guarantee them something that you have no idea what's going to happen.
I agree. We don't know.
It's a risk, right? And nobody knows the answer. That's why you have all these people with all these different opinions.
And that's okay. But just, I think if someone needs a real good opinion on something without, reading an article, call an agent. And don't just take the duty agent on duty. Look around, do some research, go to YouTube. There's could be a couple there. Come to our channel. Like there's some agents doing it right out there, giving the right information. But I'll tell you right now, there's not a lot of them. I saw this. I got to say this. Okay. I love saying this. I saw Mark Ferris on Instagram this week with a sponsored ad saying properties are in demand.
I know.
I went, properties are in demand? What are you telling people properties are in
Where?
demand? Mark, tell me where, because I don't know where they are right now. So you can help me out, leave a comment, man, because I'd like to know, because I'm not seeing what you're seeing.
I know. I heard one of those commercials. It's a good time to sell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where? Not in fucking, not in the
Right
northern
now.
hemisphere. It's not.
Right now. All right, now it's not. But see,
No.
that's, to me, like, that's just, it's wrong in my books, right? It's just, you got to have some ethics and you got to have some fucking integrity if you're going to be successful in this business.
Well, listen, that's the thing is that our business is mostly referral and repeat, right? And if you really in this business, integrity is all you have.
That's it.
That's all you have. That's the only thing that, and people recognize it, right? Like your clients, they recognize it.
100%, 100%, because I don't hold back. I tell the truth. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. I'm going to be very honest with it, because you just said, and I know this is the people's biggest investments. Some are retiring, some want to trade up. There's a lot of stress involved. There's financial risk, you name it. They need to know the right answers and the right guidance, right? You need today,
and you need an agent that's going to tell you. And I do know some, and I've talked to some myself who tell their clients, listen, we don't know where it's going. When you get the guy that sits down or the woman that tells you they know where it's going, you better run the other way.
100%, 100%.
Because 100%. Nobody knows.
100%. I got a comment on YouTube yesterday. It was going, I sold my house in Barrie a couple of years ago. I wish you guys were around then, in a sense, with this information in value, in knowledge, right? So that's basically telling me he didn't get it, right? Yeah. He sold, but he didn't get the information that we're being transparent about today, right? So,
well, and over the course of my career, I don't know how many times that I've mentioned this before, where I was sitting in my office and I'm listening to another agent talk to a client and I'm shaking my head. I can't believe what they're saying.
I know. Yeah, I know. There's lots of them, right?
Well, and it brings us all down, Mark.
Oh, no, we get a bad rap, right?
We're just under car salesman, used car salesman, in the list. It's like lawyer, used car salesman, and real estate agent.
Okay. I think we gave a good recap of that. So, if you like this information, give it a like, give it a share, give it a follow. We'd love to see more comments, and thanks to those folks that have continued to comment, because I've seen some familiar names coming up again, and and man, I got some smart comments, some smart dudes on there leaving some comments. Like, wow, like some people know their shit out there.
Yeah. Yeah, never underestimate the intelligence of people.
Oh, you can't.
And if anybody knows where houses are in demand, can you let us know?
Yeah, call Mark Ferris. He knows where they are. Give him a call. He's in Barrie. All right. See ya.
We'll talk to you later. Bye.